Hey, what's up everyone, Eric here, and today I've received a question about shelving construction for our cabinet. So behind me here I've got a Sollera cabinet. This happens to be a wall cabinet. It's sitting upside down right now because I want it to sit flush on the ground, and that's because I've got an extended side gable here. So this would have been for a white cabinet. So this is exposed side, so that's painted white. Your edge band is painted white. Your unexposed side, so the bottom, the sides that's not supposed to face anything other than a cabinet or facing a wall, that's our maple plywood. Now the cabinet interior, we have 3/4 inch thick shelving. When we switch over to a painted interior or a matching finish interior, so say if you were to just have a regular bookshelf without door, or if you had a glass cabinet door and this is a wooden frame with a glass door and you could see through, that's when we would finish it inside. And when we have to do that, we use the same exterior material and just turn it sideways as a shelf. So because the sides of the box are 5/8 thick, then the shelves also become 5/8 thick. And I could see how on the bigger cabinet, some might worry about the thin panel might warp over time, and that's a legitimate concern. So we have a couple of solutions for that. So let's take a look. I'm going to flip the camera around so it'll be easier for me to navigate here. Alright, so number one, we've got these solid edge that are 1.25 or 1.5 inches thick. You could basically use a piece of solid wood, attach it to a 5/8 thick shelf in the back, and this would essentially be a 12-inch deep shelf that goes all the way back to say over here. So for a regular 12-inch deep wall cabinet, I've just got it cut short right now. But you get the idea where this is actually jointed together with a solid wood in the front, and then the shelving goes to the back, and that prevents the shelf from warping and bending. This one happens to have a decorative edge on top and a decorative edge on the bottom, versus this one here. This one's even taller. This is made as a 2-inch thick, and it's just a square with a small little, maybe 1/8 of an inch radius there, and that's how this one is built. So that's the next option to get a beefier look on the shelving. From the front, you wouldn't really know that it's just a lip. And then you can do other options. I've got basically a column. This is supposed to be a 2-inch deep column that's basically have these two pieces of plywood extended back, and we've cut it in the front for a different purpose. So, but yeah, basically a column can be turned sideways, and instead of having it straight up on the side of a cabinet, supporting maybe like a refrigerator cabinet above a fridge, something like that, you can turn it on the side and you can use it as a bookshelf. And so that will help with weight, and it's still very rigid. So when I say that will help with weight, I mean versus having a 2-inch slab of wood, because that would be really heavy, and I also don't know what you would use as a shelf support to actually keep it on the cabinet without damaging the corners of these plywood panels. Because if you had a piece of 2-inch solid wood, that's going to be I don't know, 50 pounds, 100 pounds. And that would actually be really heavy on just these shelf support, even if you had metal ones, and it'd probably break that. So have to find some other non-conventional way to support it. Non-conventional for a standard semi-custom cabinet anyway. So yeah, you can use columns, or we also have some floating shelves. Floating shelves are built just, as that, a floating shelf, and sometimes these are thicker, usually 2 to 3 inches thick. And so the inside of these are actually like a honeycomb cardboard. I don't have it cut open, so you can't really see, but yeah, that's a floating shelf, and the honeycomb cardboard just helps lower the weight of the shelving. So if you have it spanned over 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, that weight adds up when it's solid column like that with 5/8 plywood on top and 5/8 plywood at the bottom. Okay, and then lastly, this one here, this is really the same thing as the column. I've just got it cut open in a larger piece so you can actually see the inside of what that looks like. 5/8 top, got a blocker in the back, 5/8 bottom. This section was cut open, that's a blocking. So whenever we order these, we always oversize it and then cut down on site. So that's why it gets chopped and fit on site, because sometimes the walls are not 90 degree and we want it to fit very snug. So the installer would basically taper it if needed. Let's say the front of the wall is a little bit wider than the back of the wall, so they would taper it, and then that way you're not scuffing up the sheetrock. So hopefully that's helpful information for well, whoever asked the question, and also anyone else watching. All right, thanks for watching, and see you next one. Thanks.